Okay, when I'm talking about these carburetors, I'm not a fine point judging restoration, with the judging guidelines book that's like this thick. This video is more for differentiating the common person that has a Model A or is looking to buy a Model A that can tell the difference then. So this isn't supposed to be, the exact judging standard. If your Model A was built in, May of 1930, which carburetor is correct? This is more of a general video of when you look at something, you can look at it and say, well, that's not a Zenith because it's made out of aluminum, but it looks like a Zenith. So that's a Tillotson round bowl, also known as a F1B. When you see a square one, like this, you could say, well, that's not a Zenith, which is not original, but these are good carburetors. And that's a Marvel Schebler. There's another Marvel here. And then you can also, if you see the another aluminum in there, and it looks like this, it's a little square bowl in it. Some of them have an X on it. This one doesn't, but this is known as the Tillotson X. Just because it's an aluminum doesn't mean it's a Tillotson. There's another maker, I can't remember its name, but there's another maker that makes aftermarket carburetors during that time period. So this isn't by any means, this is just the most common ones you'll see out there. But this video is more for somebody who is trying to determine, is that an original or is that a aftermarket? And these are fine, especially if you're just going to be running a car and not judging and going by fine point judging standards. Even if you go to a local car show, most of those judges, unless they own a Model A, aren't going to know that, that carburetor is not an original for May 1930. So unless you're going to a high point judging standard type of show like Hershey or the AACA, American Automobile Club of America, or MAFCA, Model A Ford Club of America, if you're competing in one of those shows, then you have to get specific on, even down to the month, was this carburetor available as a Zenith or as a Holley or as a Ford version of the Zenith. So anyways, this video is more for a common driver and getting it going, or if you're looking at buying a Model A, look at what the carburetor is and whether it bothers you or not. If it runs fine and you're going to be a driver and maybe show it at a local show, any of these carburetors is fine. But just know what you're getting into when you're looking to buy. May devalue it a little bit. If it really bothers you, you buy the car for $200-300. There's several guys around the US that really know their carburetors. They can pinpoint the one that you're supposed to have for your year and month and get you a Zenith that is rebuilt and perfect, and they've gone through it and has the right. The other thing is these, well, this isn't a Zenith, but these little throttle linkages on the sides, some of them are brass, some of them are metal, so you have to be, on the fine point judging, you have to be real specific on that. And some of these guys that are more experts on carburetors and part of the MAFCA judging, they actually do the judging. And there's, everybody's heard of Les Andrews. There's also Rick Black. Everybody's heard of Paul Shin. He's very knowledgeable. Any of those guys, there's Eisenby, several, there's a bunch of guys around the US that can tell you which carburetor you need and even possibly get you one. And some of them actually rebuild carburetors, so they would be able to, like Renter's Corner, if you go to that website, renterscorner.com, he knows his carburetors, and he kind of specializes in them, so he could know what you are looking for and possibly locate you one. All right, everybody, I just wanted to let you know where we're going with this video. Okay, here's the in the process of cleaning these carburetors up, and maybe Ted the editor can compare what they look like now to what they started out looking like. So put them side by side or something. Anyway, so this is a Zenith 1, and I didn't take the throttle plate and shaft off on that one. And this is the Holley, and a little easier to see now that they're cleaned up. The H right there, and this is a raised H. Later on they went to engraved instead of this embossed, and you can see up above here there's another H right there. So this would be a earlier Holley, and then later on they went with the new numbering system, and this is a Zenith 1, and up here you can see the Z, and you can see it right there that it's like engraved in the casting, and this one also. So it's sunk in, and where they put the numbers is on the curve, so it's sometimes hard to see those, especially when they were rusty. And the other thing I got in here is the fuel sediment bowl. There's supposed to be a plug with a drain on it, so you can drain out any water or sediment. And the problem with these is, and there's a filter screen that goes in here, and then you screw the plug with the drain on it. But the problem with these is you can't see it just by looking at it. You'll see these glass bowls, and even if you're a driver, if you're not getting judged, some people will put this on there because it's preferable. And you can get paper filters that fit in these, this little ceramic element that fits in there that will allow the gas to pass, because gas is so thin, it's thinner than water, so the gas can pass through the ceramic, but the contaminants and rust will try to catch it. And then you have to unscrew this bottom screw, swing this out of the way, and pull the bowl down, and you can see if there's water or rust or sediment in it, and dump it out. And then make sure there's a little gasket up here at the top, get it in there and seated right, and then tighten this back down. But those are kind of nice, to go original, and you would put one of these on there. And these are cast, just like the carburetors, so they'll rust really bad. And but those are the two Zenith designs. That this would be a Zenith company, then Zenith 2 would be actually a Holley, and then a Zenith 3 in 1931. Ford needed more carburetors, so Ford set up a factory and started making Zenith 3 carburetors, but they're all nearly identical, very minor changes. You can even look inside both of these. The bowl, the jet openings, very identical. You can see in this one, see down in there, the gas adjustment valve. You can see it's like a little tapered opening on the Zenith 1. But over here on the Holley, has a brass seat in there. So the early ones had the brass seat, and later on they made the casting where you could just put, without having an extra piece, the needle valve just seats against the casting of the carburetor. So that's like the biggest difference between early with the brass fitting in there and later. Just very minor changes though in these.